Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate y'all for joining me. We're about to have another good one, man. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the channel. We got Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Castbox, Spotify. So find us somewhere, man. Listen, like, subscribe to the channel, man. Comment, share it with your friends too. Let them know what you like too as well, man. I appreciate it. So today, man, we're going to get into a reaction video today. Today we're getting into a reaction video. You can see the title at the top. Conversation between what they say is a traditional man versus a 50-50 man. As you'll see, the traditional man in the video here, he supposedly he's a rich man, and versus the young man who's 50-50. Let's dive in. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Oh, I'm not a man if I'm going 50-50 with my woman. It's hard, brother. You sitting up here, your nice house, your nice jewelry, nice cars. Oh yeah, man, you gotta do 100%. How? How, brother? If I'm making $14 an hour, what you expect?
I'm gonna pause right there. So we got a brother here, brother on the right, the one sitting up in the chair, if you will. He says he's a young man. Looks like a young man. I don't know how old he is, but says he's making $14 an hour. And I guess him and his girl go 50-50 on everything that they do. So the first thing that I think about when he talks is, number one, I hear he talking about his girl. And for me, that's where my problems begin. So one of the things that I think that we've become far too comfortable with today is I think we've become far too comfortable with, to use an old school term, shacking up. We need to get back to a place where I think we begin to make commitments to each other. And so what I hear in this young man's initial conversation is that while they are living together, if they're sharing 50-50 bills, I'm assuming they're living together. I question, why aren't y'all married yet? Which makes me begs to ask the question, how long have y'all been living together? And then I'll go right back to my initial question. Why aren't y'all married yet? And for me, I think that's the gist of the conversation. Because in a marriage, I don't believe there's a 50-50. In a marriage, it's our money. So whether it's your 50 and my 30, or in this young man's case, if he's making $14 an hour, roundabout number, his 28, and perhaps she does about the same, so her 28. But in a marriage, it's not his 28 and her 28, it's their 56. And in their 56, what are we going to do with our 56? And see, right there, I think that changes the conversation. Because we're not roommates, we're married. So we're a unit. We are one. But let's keep listening.
You still on there. Oh yeah, man, 100%. You're not a man. You're not a man. How? I'm still working. I'm still providing, right? So what makes me not a man? Because I'm going 50-50 with my woman.
And so I'm gonna pause right here. So I guess in this conversation, we're piggybacking on this new trend. I call it a trend because I don't understand. I don't feel like this has always been the case necessarily. But this trend of, if you're not paying 100% of all the bills, somehow you are less than a man. So I fail to understand this concept. I'm say it again. Apparently, if you're not paying 100% of all the bills, that somehow make you less than a man. And there's a dichotomy here. It's almost an irrational conversation when I hear these kinds of talk, because this is very big on the internet right now about women who want a man who are going to take care of everything, where they don't need to work and yada yada yada. And while that sounds beautiful, and I can't imagine any woman who would prefer or who would not want to live a life where they don't have to work. But the reality is, you don't live in this reality. That's not the reality. The reality is, most men make on average, $45,000 to $50,000 a year. So for 80% of the women out there, no, 90% of the women out there, the man that you're gonna meet makes anywhere from 50 to the high end, maybe 80K. That's America. Black, white, Hispanic, whatever. Those are the numbers. So this vision that you're going to meet a man who's going to take 100%, okay, cool. Let's go with that. But now, are you prepared, female, to live a 50K lifestyle? Right? So if he's the one taking care of 100%, a lot of men can probably do that. But that's at 50K. So you prepared to live a lifestyle at 50K. Which means y'all ain't gonna be driving Benzes and Hummers. If you drive a Honda, you might drive a used one. It means that y'all house ain't gonna be in the best neighborhood in the city. Are y'all prepared to live that lifestyle? Because the average man does not make $300,000 a year. And for you to live the lifestyle that most people, man, woman, or otherwise, want to live, you need to be making upwards of 200K a year, or at a minimum, you need to be clearing 100. And the truth is, statistically, less than 10% make that kind of money. So if everybody's looking for those group, 90% of us are missing out, man, woman, or otherwise. So these conversations frustrate me because they're had out of emotion and they're not had out of reality. Let's listen in. Let's see what he has to say.
And brother, I applaud you because I understand that it is hard out here, but we are men, so we have to go harder. I'm not saying or trying to speak down to you, my brother, by any means necessary. I'm not. But I want you to be reminded of something that our fathers didn't teach us, that we must go hard and that we shouldn't get into a relationship with a woman until we have direction.
Let's stop right there. Okay, now I'm not mad at his response here. So two things he said that I'll piggyback on. Again, I don't know how old the young man is who's making $14 an hour. And so we can agree that young man, if he's making $14 an hour, there's growth that can occur. And so I do have a couple questions for him that may or may not be answered here, but what are you doing to grow? Is this your starting place, or is this where you plan to be in 5 years? And so I agree, as a man who's going to get into a relationship, there should be a vision that you're developing. And so, again, we at least at this point, we haven't gotten to what this potential man's vision is. We're only dealing with the fact that he's in a relationship currently where they split bills. But again, I go back to what my first response was. If this is a marriage, I really don't see the problem. I see a problem in the relationship, but that's only for me. Because I just don't believe in shacking up. I just don't see it. So, but I agree with him. He should have a plan. He should have a vision about where he's going, so that he understands where he's taking his family. And in a perfect world, I honestly agree that that is how that relationship should progress. That's how that woman should choose him. And if he doesn't have that together, then that woman should probably not choose him, or at least she should date him from a distance until he gets that plan together. And so we can agree there. Let's keep going.
But who are you to say that?
A person that cares, a person that loves you, a person that's been in your shoes and understands how it feels when we can't give our family what they truly deserve. We have to go hard. Now, give me one.
So I like, again, now I have to agree with this young guy. We disagree on some other things, but I agree, understanding that this young man is struggling in the sense that he wants more, but he can't quite get there right now. And so I understand and I feel where he's coming from, because I certainly know that I've been in those places. But that goes back to your plan. That goes back to the reason why you have to have a plan when you get into, or when you want to build a relationship and eventually a marriage with a woman. You need to have a place and an understanding where this thing is going. Because when you have that, then, especially when you're talking about marriage, because again, this 50-50 thing, when you chilling with this girl that y'all like each other, it's a struggle because she's not committed and you're not committed. But to me, that's where that marriage comes in, right? Because when you understand marriage, to me, the foundation of marriage is those classic words: "Till death do us part." And when you get into a marriage and "to death do us part" is what you take seriously, which means it doesn't matter what happens along the way. It doesn't matter what happens along the way, provided you haven't beat me to a pulp, or provided you're not cheating on me every 5 minutes. To death do us part. To death do us part. To death do us part. We'll depart when one of us dies. When you're in a marriage for real, finances is a conversation, and finances can be a struggle, but finances aren't your end. And if you're in this thing and finances are your end, you weren't in it together. You were in it for the benefit. Which is why I keep coming back to, we're having the wrong conversation. We shouldn't be having a conversation about a 50-50. We should be having a conversation about a marriage. Because in a marriage, it's 56. If you got 28,000 and I got 28,000, we got 56,000. What we gonna do with our 56,000? We don't have 50-50.
Moment, I've been in your shoes. And when I was in your shoes, I stayed in my lane. I lived where I lived. My woman didn't work. She nurtured to the children till I got this. And I'm trying to give you the cheat code. Do what you need to do so you can feed your woman. And while she's nurturing the children, she can also nurture your dreams and your goals. Now you can be successful. Now you don't have to say, I'm working for $15. Now you can say,
I'm with him. He's saying a lot. You know, he's having a conversation with this young man about building a plan for himself that involves building a business, and then building a business such that now your woman doesn't need to work, and now you are going to employ other people. And I have a problem with this conversation. My problem with this conversation is not everybody's built to build a business. It's just not the reality. The reality is there's 300 and some million people in this world. And 90% of them, 95% of them are not going to build a business. So this vision that he needs to build a business so that he now has employees, it sounds good, but it is not a reality. The reality is most men aren't going to do that. Most women are going to do that. So the reality is we need to be able to find places where we thrive, where we can earn a living that meets our needs. And this notion that we're all supposed to be out here being a boss. I've been so frustrated lately with hearing these conversations because it's just not reality. If everybody's a boss, who's going to work for you? Who's going to be your employee if everybody's a boss? Somebody's got to be a manager. Somebody's got to be an employee. Somebody needs to be promoted to manager. Some managers need to be promoted to vice president or president or whatever the case may be. But everybody cannot be a boss. Everybody is not built for this. Being a boss is stress. Being a boss is late nights, no sleep, no money. Everybody ain't built for that. So can we stop pretending like everybody's supposed to be one? I just get so frustrated with these conversations because we keep talking in circles and we're not talking about the one thing that everybody really needs. Everybody really needs to build a family. And you can build a family and be the boss of your house, but you don't have to be the boss on your job. You don't have to be the owner at your job. Everybody can. Everybody don't need to, and if everybody was, there'd be nobody to work. Now, the one thing we can't agree with this young man is he definitely needs to be doing something so that he can start making more than $14 an hour. We on the same page right there. But this notion that somehow he's supposed to be building the idea to make him a boss? I'm just listening to his current conversation, and I'm going to say he ain't ready. And so there's some other things that he needs to do before he even gets to the point where he can even begin to think about becoming somebody's boss. And maybe he gets there and maybe he doesn't. And you know what? I'm okay if he doesn't get there. And I'm not going to down him because he doesn't. I'm going to down him, or not even down him. I'm going to educate him if he just doesn't get to a place where he can start making more than $14 an hour. Because I want to see him do better in life. He's right. He's not going to get there at $14 an hour. And if 14 is where he's stuck at, but then yes, he does need to go get a second job so that he can have more than $14 an hour to live off of. So that his family, assuming him and this young lady that they're discussing, he's doing 50-50 with right now, assuming they're trying to build a marriage, which is what they should have been doing in the first place. But assuming they're trying to build a marriage, then yes, he needs to do more if he's going to be in this marriage. But I'm not finna make him a boss. He's clearly not there. Maybe he'll get there, maybe he won't, but he's not there now. It's the wrong conversation. Let's keep going.
I got employees that I'm paying that's working for me for $15. I'm trying to elevate you, but men get so caught in their emotions and their pride, and the first thing you want to do is feel attacked. Get the wisdom.
This is coming from a rich man.
But right now
this
you're acting triggered. But right now you're
this is coming from a rich
man.
man.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
But how did I give you? And I'm giving you the steps. This is if you put down your ego, if you put down your pride, Brother, am I saying anything wrong? I'm saying men should be men.
But you
I
saying we
know it's
not men. You
I,
saying we not men.
brother. Any man that makes an excuse can't be a man. Come
All right, so let's keep going, man. So obviously they're getting heated now. This brother's definitely feeling attacked in this situation. And so I just got a couple questions right now. So my question is for the young man, for the man who says he's traditional man. And so perhaps there's a long conversation that's being had on the back end. But what are you doing besides at the moment criticizing to help him get the wisdom that he needs? That's a question I would have. Because in this interaction that we're seeing that everybody's reacting to, we're not seeing any real knowledge being put forth that's going to help him get beyond his current situation. And by at least in some way, somehow, right, he's certainly feeling like this young, the traditional man here is not looking at him as a man. And so by criticizing his manhood, you've already shut the door on opening his eyes to whatever it is that you're trying to see. Because at the moment, he's only reacting to this vision that you don't think he's a man because he's going 50-50 with his girlfriend. And so now y'all just talking at each other, or at the very least, he's talking at you because he's not really understanding you. And like I said, you do got some good points about him being able to work harder. I think he can. You make a great point about him developing a plan for this future family or whatever. I definitely agree with that. But at the moment, he's not hearing you. And he's missing what you're trying to say, although he's also trying to understand how you're going to help him get beyond where he's at.
completely. You can be a male. A man comes with responsibilities, and it's hard. To be a man, it's hard, brother. It's not easy. That's why the respect you want from your woman that you don't get, I get from mine.
My woman respect me.
Hold on.
My woman respect me.
You think she respects
My
you.
woman respect me.
You think she
Yeah,
respects
all right,
See,
you.
brother.
here we go again. You are attacking him. And because you're attacking him, he's on the defensive. So again, I don't know either one of these brothers. And so that respect thing is important. And I'll take the traditional man here at his word that his woman respects him. But to envision that the other young man doesn't have the respect of his lady, I think it's just disrespectful. Number one, again, let's get back to these numbers, man. There is only a couple 100,000 black people that make more than $100,000. So the majority of the black people make less than that, right? So the vision that his woman is not in his same category, the truth is she's probably in his same category. She probably makes just as much as he does. Because if he's at 14, he's more than likely dating a woman at his financial level. So to think she doesn't respect him when they both go to work and work hard all day, that's disrespectful, man. I doubt very seriously. I'm going to take him at his word that his woman does respect him. Because I don't think it's so hard to believe that she wouldn't. Why would she not? Both of these individuals are probably individuals whose parents made similar money, whose parents, assuming they had, a long-term relationships with their mothers and fathers, in terms of the mothers and the fathers of this young man, assuming they were together, they probably made similar or a little bit more money because, they were older. So to think that they don't, come on, man, what are we doing? Why we can't respect each other for who we are and accept each other for who we are? Why is it only that we believe respect is only earned based on what your paycheck says? Who are these people? It's like, we're living in this world where everybody we know is millionaires. The truth is Very few people have a millionaire in their circle. Unless you two are a millionaire. That's the truth right there. There's some truth. Truth is, if that brother's making $14 an hour, that means I bet there's only the people in his circle are probably not making any more than 20. So, brother rich man, who's supposed to be elevating this brother? Even I even look at, let's say, I look at it like a teacher or somebody, right? Most teachers, everybody in your circle is making 50 to 60 grand a year. Is that a bad circle as a teacher? What are we talking about? Who are these people? Act like they know every rich man in the world. Like they're just building millionaire businesses all the time. Like everybody's doing this. The numbers say a couple 100,000 black people make that. There's 46 million of us in this country. A couple 100,000. Can we stop pretending like everybody doing it? Can we stop? Can we stop and have real conversations with each other about growing together, about building families together, and stop with this nonsense about everybody being a boss? Just because you make $80K a year don't make you a boss. You still might be an employee. Now, you may be the boss of your family, but you ain't a boss. If you own a business, you may be the boss of that business, and that's cool. But if you married and you the woman, when you go home, isn't your husband leading you? Why are we having real conversations so much? Let's keep going.
You
All
think
right,
she was,
brother.
has she ever raised her voice at you?
No,
Does she cook for you every night,
of
brother?
course.
So she respects you, cooks for you every night. Does she clean the house?
Of course.
She cleans the house, and you got her working 16 hours a day.
Hmm.
That sounds like slavery.
No, it's
Come
not.
on, man.
Brother, you got
I gotta take the glass off. Did this brother just say this man has his wife in slavery? Are we supposed to take these comments for real now? Now here's what I will say to the brother. If y'all doing equal work financially, then y'all probably, again, I'm looking at this man and I'm going, they probably doing the same job. They might have went at the job. Then, brother, you could do some of this stuff too, bro. That's what I'm gonna say about that part. You don't have to necessarily watch her clean and watch her cook behind you every day. And again, maybe she don't, and this is the way he's coming off because he upset and now he in defensive mode. But I will say, brother, you can share in some of these responsibilities, that's for sure. Because again, this ain't even for me. This 50-50 thing is so frustrating. I ain't even think about 50-50. I'm thinking about a marriage. I'm thinking about two people building a life together. You know what? Y'all can share some of these responsibilities sometime. Because we need to get out of this shacking up and we need to start building families. Shacking up is what gets us to be single mothers and single fathers. Because we shacking up, and then because we ain't never made a commitment to each other, because at the end of the day, we really don't understand what a commitment is yet. We get into these situations, eventually find out we really don't like each other, and now we're single mothers and single fathers. Let's keep going.
got her cooking every
I
night.
don't have her doing anything. She does it because she wants to. We in the trenches together.
The trenches together.
That's what we in.
Brother, do you know anything about emotional abuse?
Explain it.
Emotional abuse is when you pour all your hurt and pain onto a woman, and just because you can't see her scars, you think it's okay. If I had a conversation with your woman, she'll probably start crying. They tired. They not built to go through what they're going through with you.
All right, man. I'm good on this, right? So, the last part I'm going to address right here. He says emotional abuse. These are some fancy terms, man. I'll say they sound good. So, I'm not going to speak to whether or not this man's wife or girlfriend or a girlfriend, I don't think it's his wife, that his girlfriend is experiencing emotional abuse. That's between him and him, and they'll figure that out on their own. I will say that there are women who do take on a loaded responsibility by having to work and then take care of the kids. That puts a stress on them. I do think those women exist. And I think as men and women, we have to be mature enough to know who you marry. So that's the dating game. So understand when you marry a certain man, you're more than likely going to be working for the rest of your life. Understand when you marry certain women, you should understand before you married them that they didn't want to work at all. And so now we make a decision based on understanding who I married about what my life is going to be, and be okay with it, because till death do us part. Now, along the way, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know any marriage that didn't end in some screaming sometimes, some yelling sometimes. Because if y'all just never yell and scream, then y'all ain't talking. So we're going to disagree on that one. And I don't think that's about disrespect either. I think that's about getting to an understanding. Because one of the things we have to understand when we're getting into this marriage thing is we're bringing two people who have two very different lives, who've been raised two different ways, who are now trying to bring two different ideas together into one. That is a challenge. That is a challenge that will be met and discussed on multiple occasions. Because every new situation brings up another discussion that you didn't know perhaps what the outcome is going to be, and that you're going to have to think you're going to be on two different sides of the coin. And that's okay. That's a marriage. That's the communication. That's the love. That's the evolution. That's the growth. That's the beauty of it all. But dwindling down the marriage all the way down to how much I'm contributing to the man, if that's all you worried about, don't get married. Don't get married till you find the dude or the woman or whatever your situation is, or the man or the woman, depending on what you're looking for. Don't get married till you get there. And good luck with that. Because the truth is, most of us ain't going to get to the place that we thought we were. And so you might be waiting longer than you wanted. And so in the meantime, you can either find somebody you can work with, or you can wait for the special. And hey, more power to you. I hope the Lord brings the special one to you. But the only problem with that is as far as God is concerned, God didn't tell you your special one was going to have $1 million. God just told you he was special. Woo! So you can sit around and wait for God to bring you a millionaire. But God might have said, no, I gave you $1 million. So you go find this brother right here, because he going to give you everything that I want you to have. And you going to have the money, so y'all going to be straight. But you don't want God to talk like that. You want God to tell you, I'm going to bring you the guy that's going to make you $10 million, baby. Nah, God don't work like that. And maybe you are the one that God said, I'm going to give you the man to make $10 million. Or maybe you're the one that God said, I'm going to get what you get with this man. You only got 50,000 right now. But if you help him, I'm going to help y'all get to a plan where y'all have $20 million. Either way, are you willing to accept that? Or you got to wait for him to get his 20? Man, I can't wait for black people. And that's what I'm talking to, really, because that's what I'm concerned about. But in general, people in general, we got to drop this notion that everybody is supposed to be a millionaire. Everybody is supposed to be a boss. And if we can't get together until you are your millionaire and you a boss, because there are so many families that we should be building right now that we're missing out on because we're caught up in a number for finance. The reality is, pay attention to the world, people. The average person makes $50K. The average house is costing almost $300K or more, depending on where you live. If you look at your numbers, $50K ain't gonna do it. $50K times 2 is gonna be a struggle. So you can either not do it by yourself or find somebody you can work with to get to a place where you can do it. Because the days of simply having one income households, we have risen above that level. Because wages haven't kept up with the cost of living. And so the reality is, the successful home has 2 incomes. Because less than 1 million, less than 300,000 people are making the 100K. So we need to stop having conversations about the man taking care of the woman and have conversations about what it looks like when 2 people come together to build something great and special within a marriage. And what does it look like to be married for the rest of my life once I choose a mate? Because these conversations that we're having right now aren't getting us any closer to changing the fabric of our culture, our society. And we say we want to change it, but all we keep doing is having conversations about, you ain't got enough money to do this. You know what? You ain't got enough money either. So why don't we get together and stop talking about this crap? I'm not mad at any man that wants to build a business and take care of his woman. I'm doing that too. But I also ain't mad at a brother who's looking for a woman to work with him so that they can get to a place that's going to be magical for them. Because the reality, that is most of us. Less than 300,000 people make 100K a year in the black community, and there's 46 million of us. So that matter of fact, that's almost 99% of us. Let's stop with this nonsense. Let's build families again, 2 income families. And let's grow together as a community and take back those things that we desire to have. Take back and build control in the places that we want to build control as families, as communities. And stop waiting on everybody to become whatever you want them to be, Tyler Perry or whoever you think they need to be before you can respect them. If you don't knock out that nest, that's the trick of the enemy, to keeping you separated so that you can't get to your glory. And on that note, I'm B Period, man. And I'm out. Please like, subscribe to all the channels. And we'll see you on the next one, man.